This is Novorossiysk, the last harbor where Russia's Black Sea fleet can still hide. It's guarded by the most advanced air defense Russia can field, the S-400, the Pantsir, radar, jammers, even lasers. In May of 2026, a swarm of cheap Ukrainian drones flew straight through all of it and sank a warship. So how does that actually work? In this video, we're going to break that down, how modern air defense is built in layers, and how one $55,000 drone was engineered to slip past every single one. First, the drone itself. It's called the FP1, built by a Ukrainian company called Firepoint. A 16-foot wingspan, a small propeller engine, and a warhead of up to 265 pounds. It flies about 100 miles an hour, and it costs $55,000. That price is the whole point. The missiles built to shoot it down cost millions each, and Ukraine builds more than 100 of these every day. So every time Russia fires an interceptor at one, it spends more than the drone is worth. The drone doesn't have to be better than the defense, it just has to be cheaper than the thing used to stop it. But being cheap only gets you launched. To reach the target, the drone has to survive 6 layers of defense, each built to catch a different kind of threat. So for each one, we'll look at the same 3 things: what it's for, why it normally works, and the weakness the drone was designed to exploit. Layer 1 is the satellite signal. Most drones navigate using GPS, or its Russian equivalent, GLONASS, satellites telling the drone where it is. So the first layer of defense isn't a weapon at all, it's a jammer. Novorossiysk sits inside the most heavily spoofed patch of sea on the planet. A transmitter on the coast broadcasts a fake satellite signal, strong enough to bury the real one, handing every incoming drone a position that's simply a lie. Think of it like swapping every road sign in a country overnight. Follow the signs and you drive into a ditch. The FP1 beats this with inertial navigation. Instead of asking a satellite where it is, the drone tracks its own movement, every turn, every second of flight, and adds it up internally. No outside signal, so there's nothing to jam and nothing to fake. It's like walking across a familiar room in the dark. You don't need the lights because you already know where the furniture is. It might drift a couple of inches over 30 miles, but against a ship the size of a city block, that's a rounding error. Layer 2 is the S-400, a long-range missile system, the most advanced air defense Russia sells. Its radar can see 250 miles away and put a missile on almost anything: a fighter jet, a cruise missile, even a stealth aircraft. On paper, nothing gets near this coast, but it has a blind spot, and it comes down to physics. Radar travels in straight lines. The Earth is curved, so anything flying low enough stays hidden behind that curve until it's almost on top of you. The FP1 flies at 165 feet, skimming the waves. A rough sea scatters the radar in every direction and buries a small drone in the clutter. And even when the S-400 does fire, there's a second problem. Its missile doesn't hit the drone directly. It explodes when it senses something close, using a fuse tuned for a target the size of a jet. A drone hugging the water confuses it. It can't tell the tiny airframe from the sea beneath it, so it explodes on the water instead. A $500 million system, beaten by a drone flying inside its own blind spot. Layer 3 ties the whole attack together, and it isn't a weapon either. It's how the swarm is arranged. The drones don't all fly at the same height. The swarm splits in 2. One group skimming the waves, one climbing high. And this isn't random, because low and high beat opposite systems. Fly low, and you hide from the long-range missiles. That's how you beat the S-400. But you fly right into the anti-aircraft guns. Fly high, and it's the reverse. You clear the guns, but the missiles can see you. No single altitude beats everything, so the swarm uses both at once. Now every defender on that coast is forced to fight the one target its system is worst against, while the other half of the swarm sails past. That's the setup for the next 2 layers. Layer 4 is the Pantsir, the gun actually built for this. Up close, Russia has a weapon made specifically to kill small, low, slow targets, the Pantsir-S1. Twin 30mm autocannons firing close to 5,000 rounds a minute, its own radar, and a thermal sight that tracks a drone by the heat of its engine. Against the low drones, it works exactly as intended. A gun doesn't care about jamming or fuses, it just throws a wall of metal into the sky. So how do you beat a gun that's good at its job? You don't. You fly over it. The Pantsir's cannons only reach about 10,000 feet up. Send a drone above that ceiling and the gun can track it, aim right at it, and never fire because it can't reach. It has a missile that could, but only a few fire channels, and they're busy with the low drones. By the time it's free, the high drone has already dropped into the harbor behind the ridge, where the gun can't shoot without hitting the city. Right weapon, wrong geometry. Layer 5 is the harbor itself, and this one Russia built by accident. You'd think a fleet packed with warships would bristle with guns pointed at the sky. It does, but they can't be used. Novorossiysk is a natural bowl. 340,000 people stacked up the hills behind the port, warships packed bow to stern in front. The ships can't fire across the harbor without shooting through each other or into the city behind them. So the fleet sits silent and lets the hills do the fighting. The same geography that makes this a safe harbor is what stops it from defending itself. Layer 6 is the newest and the strangest. Lasers. On its final approach, the drone gets swept with blue laser beams, bright enough to light up the whole harbor. This is a genuinely new anti-drone weapon, built cheaply from commercial laser diodes, guarding this port since late 2025. But it isn't trying to burn the drone down, it's trying to blind it. Most attack drones find their target with a camera, and a camera is extremely sensitive to blue light. Flood the lens with enough of it, and the image washes out to white. The drone goes blind and crashes. But the FP1 flies straight through the beam as if it isn't there. Because it doesn't use a camera, its seeker reads heat, infrared, a completely different part of the spectrum. You can't blind a heat sensor with visible light any more than you can deafen someone with a flashlight. Wrong kind of light for the wrong kind of eye. That single choice, heat instead of a camera, made on a factory floor months earlier, turns an entire shoreline of lasers into an expensive light show. Which brings us to the last obstacle, one the drone's own side created. A heat-seeking drone homes in on the hottest thing it can see, and by now the swarm has set the port's oil terminal on fire, filling the harbor with false heat. So the seeker is built to be smarter. A burning fuel tank is hot in a shapeless blob, but a warship is hot in a specific outline, a hull, a superstructure against cold water. The seeker isn't hunting the hottest thing in the harbor, it's hunting warmth in the shape of a ship. And through the smoke, it finds one, the frigate Pytlivy. And Pytlivy is exactly the target this whole system was designed to catch. An old ship with no answer to a modern drone. Launched in 1981, her defenses were built for hunting submarines. Her missile system is a 1960s design that can't turn fast enough to track a small drone. And once the drone is close, it's inside the missile's minimum range, too near to shoot at all. Her deck guns were never meant for something this small and fast. And she has no close-in defense gun, the automatic, radar-guided weapon a modern warship uses to fill the last second of sky with metal. She predates the whole concept. The only thing that answers is rifle fire, and it isn't enough. The drone hits just below the deck rail, and the oldest warship in Russia's Black Sea fleet is left burning at her moorings. So step back and look at what happened. Russia spent hundreds of billions on a layered air defense. 6 systems, each designed to stop a specific threat. And every layer was beaten. Not by something more advanced, by something cheaper, engineered to exploit the one gap each layer couldn't close. Inertial navigation beat the jamming. Flying low beat the missiles. The high-low split beat the guns. A heat-seeking eye beat the laser. None of it came from a bigger budget. It came from understanding exactly how each defense works and choosing, in advance, the weakness it can't fix. And that reaches far beyond one harbor. For decades, you defended something by spending more than the attacker. The better radar, the faster missile, the bigger system. That logic just broke. When a $55,000 drone can retire a warship, the expensive side isn't winning anymore, it's just spending more to lose. The Black Sea fleet already ran from Crimea once. It ran here to Novorossiysk, and now there is no next harbor.